back. It is Coach K again, and I have another special guest queen with me today from another amazing organization that I've been able to interview. And I love this organization and all the women attached because they are truly phenomenal women. And we have Trinity with us today, who is Mrs. USA, Queen of the World. And she's going to tell us a little bit about her platform, about her and the amazing work that she's done, her career in pageantry, and how she got started and how you can connect with her. So, welcome back to Queenly Conversations, and let's dive right in. So, hi, Trinity. Thank you so much for being with us today. How are you?
Thank you so much for the invitation. I am thrilled to be here.
Awesome. So, let's get right into it, girl.
Okay, let's do it.
How did you get into this world of queens and pageantry, and what do you enjoy most about it?
So I remember as a little girl, like watching Miss America on TV and just begging my parents. I remember as young as like 7, 8 years old, like begging my parents to let me jump into pageantry. And they held me off for as long as they could. And finally, I wore them down when I was 17 and I got to enter my first pageant. And I was bitten by the pageant bug immediately and entered several pageants as I was graduating high school, and then became a Miss America girl and competed in prelims all throughout college. That's actually how I paid for most of my bachelor's degree and most of my master's in business administration through pageant scholarships. I'm a huge advocate that this is the best self-development tool for women out there. I've always believed that, just thinking about like what it did for me as a very shy, quiet girl that really just loved to sing. I think that's where I got started in pageantry. I just wanted to get on stage and sing. And so the talent portion of those pageants really attracted me to it. And then I started winning money and paying for college. And it was just a huge blessing in my life that I was able to use in the corporate world with my speaking abilities and self-development skills, and everything that I've learned in college. But then I took a long break, right? I got married, I had kids. I had no idea that there was this whole world of Mrs. Pageantry and pageantry for adult women. I had no idea. So I took about a 17-year break and then really needed something for me. I had 2 small children. I'd gone through a lot of health scares with a cancer journey. I had lots of complications having both of my babies that took years to recover from. So I just was not in a good place, and really like looked in the mirror one day and didn't even recognize myself because of the toll that all that had taken on me for my health and just self-esteem, all of it, everything. I just didn't recognize myself and kept thinking, how do I pull myself out of this? Like, what do I do? And the idea of a pageant, and again, I didn't even really know that Mrs. Pageantry existed at this point. The idea of pageantry just kept coming back to mind. And I thought, I had this pretty big scar on my leg from my cancer surgery. I had been diagnosed with stage 2 melanoma. I thought, I can't do swimsuit. I can't get out there and do these things. Like, why do I keep thinking about a pageant? I kept thinking about all of the can't things about, especially from the physical aspect of why I couldn't get on stage. And did a Google search one day, found Mrs. Pageantry. And it actually took me a couple of years from that point to get my nerve up to enter, really, because I realized that I had this pivotal moment one day of realizing that, especially from the swimsuit and like the physical aspect of it, that there were so many people that had lost their lives from similar health scares that I had gone through, that I couldn't let something like vanity stop me from getting up on stage again and pulling myself out of. And I knew from my former years in pageantry that it was exactly what I needed to do to pull myself out of this pit that I was in of depression and just all of the things that just in a bad place, just from even though I was in a great place with like raising babies and doing all the things, but personally, it was a really, really hard time just because of the health scare. So I had that pivotal moment of realizing that I wasn't going to let the vanity piece of it stop me, because there were so many people that didn't have the opportunity that I had at life. So I entered, I entered the Mrs. Tennessee pageant, and that began my pageant journey. And that was 11 years ago. Yeah, 11, almost, well, gosh, almost 12 years ago. So I've been in Mrs. Pageantry for a while now, and it has done for me exactly what it did back in my college days. It helped me to find myself again and really to find my calling. All in all, I've been in pageantry for 30 years now, and I've done just about everything from contestant to MC to judge to backstage volunteer, helper, um, director, coach. And that is what I've found, especially in the last few years, that this entire journey has brought me to what God's calling really is for me in my life. And that is to be in the pageant industry and help other women achieve their goals, because I now work full time as a certified life coach and also as a pageant coach. And so it's not just a thing or a hobby for me anymore. I've really discovered in the last couple of years that it's my calling and my gifting to help women. And as you know, an extra blessing to me, I'm now Mrs. USA Queen of the World. So I was able to accomplish that dream of mine too this year.
Woo, you better say it, girl. Got me fangirling. I always fangirl out on y'all, but you, girl, I still special because Tennessee in the house.
Yes.
But your story, oh my goodness, like thank you for sharing all of that. That was such a powerful testimony. That's more than just a story. That's a testimony of triumph, of resilience, of pushing through,
Mhm.
especially push it. It's so easy to get stuck in a comfort zone, but it's so hard to pull yourself out and step into that courage zone. And that's what you have done, and being obedient and doing so really yields those rewards. And I'm just like, girl, yes, talk about persistence, especially from being a little girl asking for 16 years to your parents, like, I'm not giving up on this, to even just coming back to it and saying like and you touched my heart. One of your fellow queens, Ms. USA. That's one of my close friends. And she always fusses at me because I'm the same way about the swimsuit portion.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the Mississippi and Tennessee girl in me, but it's just something about getting up on the stage in the swimsuit. And I had to do it for the last pageant I was in, and I was just like, it was not my favorite. I was just like, ugh. But the way that you said that, it like just opened my mind, and you just like took the lid off. And I was like, vanity, vanity. I'm gonna let vanity stop me.
Mhm.
Like literally everything that my body, my mind, my spirit is going through, to say that I can literally get up on this stage and be a testimony of like,
Mhm.
look at what it still have. Like that's where the confidence of that comes from. Because I think sometimes, especially with the swimsuit portion, people misunderstand it
Mhm.
and don't really fully understand it, because people have conflicting issues about it. So thank you for breaking that down and kind of like bringing me to a realization, giving me that epiphany, girl. Like Tennessee sister, I thank you for that.
Yeah, if we can get on a stage in a swimsuit and 6-inch heels, there's absolutely nothing that we can't accomplish, right? Because
Nothing.
it does take an immense amount of confidence, but there's huge growth in it too. And then the evening gown piece, being able to just feel beautiful and feminine and embrace that and enjoy the journey, and that all that you've accomplished by walking by stepping out onto the stage. That's what I always want. I always want women to just enjoy the journey, and then when they finally walk on the stage, whether it be in swimsuit or an evening gown, talent, whatever phase of competition it is, to just embrace it, enjoy it, notice the audience, take it all in, because we work for months or years for, sometimes we sign up for a pageant a year in advance. And so and it's only a few seconds really that we're on the stage. So we have to embrace it and take it all in, and love ourselves and enjoy the journey. So yeah, it's not just the swimsuit piece, it's the gown, it's all the phases of competition. So yeah, I
Right.
love pageantry.
Preparation. Yes. Preparation and presentation.
Yes,
Yes.
very good.
So let's get into this platform, girl, because your organization, what I love so much about it is that you guys are serious about the importance of your platform and your service that
Mhm,
you do for individuals across this nation
mhm,
and what you intend to do for individuals across this entire world. So
mhm.
I want you to talk to me about what is your platform and what led you to supporting and really cultivating this platform.
Ah, So throughout my life, I've been involved in a lot of different charity organizations and have done lots of work in various, especially, with the cancer journey. I've been involved in various organizations throughout the years. And my husband and I together are still very involved in a lot of those organizations. But the thing that really, when I think about my platform, when I started developing my platform, I realized that it was actually my life's calling and my life in general, and that is to teach women how to achieve their own their own goals, and how to pull themselves out of the pit that I found myself in. So I actually created um, well, actually, let me back up. I'm a huge fan of vision boards and all things self-development, right? So I could talk about vision boards and all of that all day long. And so I have done several workshops over the years for clients and coaching about vision boards and teaching women how to not just develop, not just set their goal, but actually step by step achieve those goals, right? So when I started putting together my platform, I realized that was what really, like, when I would jump out of bed in the morning, like, what lights my fire is helping women figure out what it is that how to pull themselves out of the pit, and what do they want to achieve? What are their goals, whether it's a pageant or not? For a lot of women, they enter a pageant and then it becomes the catalyst to something so much bigger because they find their passion too. So the pageant might get us started, but it's really it's just the catalyst to, like, bigger things and bigger platforms that the pageant allows us to be a part of. So I took those workshops that I've done over the years that I've presented to thousands of women and published a workbook, and it's called Call to Thrive, Your Purpose Defined. And it's really a step-by-step book on how to develop your own, we'll call it a vision board. And I've done the cut and paste projects before. I used to love doing those, but I don't do it that way anymore. And that's what I teach in my workbook. It's just step by step, really just 3 steps to keep it simple, to set your goal and then to drill it down into key smaller steps, because it's really easy to say, oh, I'm going to do this in 2025. I'm going to go on this huge family vacation in 2025. We'll keep it simple, right? We'll talk about family vacation. I'm going to do this. We're going to go on the trip this year. But if all you do in 2025 is just say, we're going on the trip, and you never take all the steps to, like, figure out what the trip is, to budget for the trip, to book the flights, to do all the things, then you never actually do the thing, right? This is just like an easy way to explain it. So the workbook actually takes the big goal and in multiple different categories of self-development, and then helps you to drill it down into smaller steps so that at the end of the year, you've actually achieved all of the things that you want to achieve. So it's teaching women how to not just set their goal, but achieve their goal. I feel like it's my life's work. It's my God-given talent and mission that he has provided that he's instilled in me to um, not just be able to help women, but actually see them where they are and help guide them to where they want to go. So I published the workbook, and then that was in late 2024. Finally published that workbook. And then recently published just this month. Well, actually, we're in March 1st now. So middle of February, published the Queen's Code, which is 5 steps to success on and off the stage. And it's kind of a culmination of all the things that I've observed, either as a contestant or a judge, and really to help women really see just 5 key simple steps to success. And I say simple, but they're really often overlooked. And so I've also written that book as well, because I really want women to achieve whatever it is that God's put on their hearts. So that's my mission. I can call it my platform. I think it's really more of my mission in life, and the just what God has instilled in me and the talents that He's given me. And I'm so thankful and just really proud to be a part of so many women's journey.
Beautiful. And I'll even add what he's entrusted to you,
Good word.
because there are people who are gifted, that have gifts, that have anointings, but they're not entrusted to have the reach that you have, and to be break it down and bring it to so many women. That takes a lot of trust from our Father to give His daughter. And I just always get caught up in these interviews, like, because I'm just like, girl, like, you did, girl, do you see how amazing you are? Like, let me just be your cheerleader for a second. Like, that's just a beautiful testimony. It's just like knowing that all we can go through as women, and still being able to take those ashes and beauty be made of them. That's beauty to be spread all over the world for other women, for you to reach back and help another sister from something that you went through. It makes it all worth it. And kudos to you. Kudos to you, Trinity. The perfect name. The perfect name.
Thank you.
All right. So before I get caught up, girl, you got to stop me, because, us Southern girls will get to gabbing. Um, so we talked briefly about this, but it's one thing that we have in common, being on that Tennessee Mississippi border, is Tennessee and Mississippi, we love us some music. We
Yes.
love us. We are singing folk. That is where American music was born, was within Mississippi and Tennessee. And many people don't know that, but that's the actual truth. When it comes to American music, that's where it was born. So you briefly mentioned this. So I want to talk about some of your hidden talents that you don't really get to mention too much, because as a fellow singer, because I know when you said you sing, I was like, girl, you from Chattanooga. You don't sing, you sing. And you know what I'm talking about. You
Yes.
at Baptist church sing, okay? Like, we do it a little
Pentecostal.
different. Pentecostal. Oh, correct me, Pentecostal. That means you throw down, okay, honey? Know how to praise God. So what hidden talents do you possess, and what just talk about some of those gifts for me, and what they mean to you, and why they're important.
Hidden talents. Okay, so I do love to sing, but I'm not sure that's a hidden talent, because I do sing in church. I think, yeah, sing on our praise team in church. And if I can figure out what to sing, I'm going to sing in the talent optional at Queen of the World. I've got to pick a song. I keep saying I'm going to pick a song, because I have not competed in the talent portion since college. So I am super excited about that. I've just got to figure out what to sing. But that's not really a hidden talent. I think it might go back to, and this has actually come up a couple of times this week, so this is an interesting question that you're causing me to reflect on. But I've heard several women this week, when they are referencing their journey, and they've talked about how I worked my magic in helping them develop their journey. And they all use that. Like, I had a session with Trinity and she worked her magic. Like, what? Okay, what does that mean? Like, what is, you know? And I think my hidden talent is the ability to really listen to what women are saying and hear them and see them where they are. It really goes back to listening, really, really listening, because you can listen to somebody, but then you can really listen and like listen and listen to their
And
heart.
hear their heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that would probably be when they talk about me working my magic, which is I love hearing that. Like, it's like the biggest compliment. Like, thank you. Like, okay, but what is that? But it goes back to being able to listen and see people exactly where they are and hear their hearts and maybe what they're trying to say, but can't quite find the words. And that probably comes from me being in that same situation for so many years and needing to kind of, and I did it on my own. I pulled myself out of the pit by finding pageantry. So it probably comes from that too, like being in that place where a lot of women are, because we go through so many highs and lows as women. And that we go through a lot of stuff. We are all things to all people, or we try to be, right? We want to do all the things. And that
I'm every woman.
so that means that we go through extreme highs and extreme lows, whether we want to admit it or not. And so I think my hidden talent is listening and meeting people where they are and helping them to find where they, find what their next steps are.
That's beautiful. And that is such a beautiful gift. That
Mhm.
is, and I'm going to keep saying it, but that really even ties back into your name. Because in
Oh,
order to have that gift, you have to really have those three working on your behalf so you can see people where they are. And that's a beautiful thing and a beautiful gift for you to be able to share and give to so many women. So, speaking of service and the service that you've done, what is one thing you'd like people to know about the service work in pageantry that they often don't get the chance to see?
that they often don't get to see. There is so much work behind the scenes that women do to prepare, and there's so much service work, um, self-development, finding their passions, whether it be in an organization or writing a book, whatever it may be. There's so much self-development behind the scenes. We can't just show up and shine. We would like to think that we can just show up and shine, but there's so much work that has to be done behind the scenes. So people probably don't know that um, sometimes it's years in the making. When we put that kind of work in and then we show up on stage, we make it look easy, right? They're like, oh, she's lucky. She just won, or she just placed in the top five, or whatever sometimes it's not even winning. Let's just talk about personal best, right? Whatever your personal best is. Um, but when you're putting in all of that work behind the scenes that people don't know about, you make it look easy, but sometimes it can be years in the making. I mean, I've been in pageantry 30 years, right? And when I think about where I was so shy. I, that girl then would never imagine that I'm sitting here with you now talking. Like those two people are polar opposite, but it's been because of the journey and all of the work that pageantry has poured into me over the years, to where it's now not just it's a career, it's a calling. It's instilled in me in every way. So I don't think people know the work that goes into it behind the scenes. And yeah, there's a lot of work to it. And I think that there would be more um, credibility to the titles and the industry as a whole if people really understood all of the work that goes into it.
I definitely agree. And you answered that perfectly. There are so many women who need to hear that specifically, especially in regards to like it's a process, it's a
Mhm,
fleshing,
mhm,
it's literally you becoming crafted and molded into this, not because someone's forcing you, but because of personal development, because you want to get, like you said, that personal best.
mhm,
It's always like, diamonds, you pull them out the ground, you pull them out the cave, and they're all lumpy, but it takes time to, cut it and polish it and shine it up just
mhm.
right. And then before you know, you have this wonderful stone with this brilliant luster. And that's literally what I see before me today, girl. So
You-
I'm very honored that you have sat and talked with me today about your journey. I'm just, girl, USA. I know I don't want to be part. Well, I can be because I'm USA. I'm an American. This is our Olympics. Pageantry. This is our Olympics. Okay, Team
Yes,
USA.
yes,
USA.
yes. I am I'm so honored to be Mrs. USA. It is I had watched Queen of the World for several years. Actually talked with Alice, our director, a few years ago about entering, but the timing just wasn't quite right. But I continued to watch and cheer them on and support them and just watch the system. And so now to be a part of the family and to be Mrs. USA is I am just so honored and so excited. We go to nationals in just a little over two, or if we go to internationals in just a little over 2 months, and I am so excited. I've still got a lot to do. I got some wardrobe to get. I got a few things. I got some shopping to do, but other than that, I'm ready to take the stage and be Mrs. USA on the international stage. I'm so excited.
Congratulations. And we will all be rooting you on as well. We really will, Trinity. You
Thank
are a beautiful representation for our country and what we need to see on the main stage, and a representation of what the true ideals of our country. And so I'm really blessed that you're representing us, girl. Go get it. That's your crown. Go get
I'll do my best. I will do my best.
it. So, do you talk a little bit about the mentorship and some of the things that you've done? But who are some of the mentors that have really impacted you on your journey? Because you said you've had a long career in this
Mhm,
thing, so I can
mhm.
only imagine the mentors that have really spoken into you along the way. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've thought about that recently too, about some of the mentors that I had. That were actually my directors when I was competing, back in the Miss America days. The directors back then really served as our coaches in a lot of ways. They really got involved in our life. And there was one director in particular that I never actually won her pageant, her local prelim, but she poured into me year after year after year. And so there have been many times throughout my pageant journey, and she's now passed away, that I've thought I really wish that she could see what she helped me to accomplish. Um, so so there have been those moments where I've thought, I really wish Miss Pat could see me now. And I know that she can. I know that she can. So there's that. And then in more recent years, it's kind of a full circle God moment in a way as well. I found a podcast back in 2017 called Win a Pageant. And the podcast host, Alicia, she didn't know it, but she became like my new BFF because I listened to her every day in her pageant podcast and really started changing my perspective on a daily basis, and really started helping me understand the mindset of pageantry. Like I'd always heard that phrase of like, oh, you're only competing against yourself. And I thought, what does that even mean? Like really, like we hear those quirky things. And I'm like, what does that mean? That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, there's 15 other women on the stage. How am I just competing against myself? Like, that doesn't make sense, right? But I started listening to this podcast, and she really started changing my mindset and became my, on her podcast. She became my instant BFF. And now in this full circle God moment, I am a coach and director of client success for Win a Pageant. So when I think about how God knit all of that together, like me finding her podcast and then her becoming my mentor in pageantry, as a coach, and then becoming a certified life coach, which was completely unrelated to anything else. That was during COVID. And I had two teenagers and we had all this downtime. And I thought, I guess maybe I'll go back to school because I'm a big lover of self-development, right? So I thought maybe I'll go back to school and do this life coaching thing because I have to raise these two teenagers to be good humans. And didn't really know how to do that because raising teenage girls is not for the faint of heart. So like
At all.
the life coach thing wasn't even on my radar to do anything but help myself, right? So I became a certified life coach. And so as you watch the circle of like finding the podcast and coaching with Alicia, then, doing my own thing and becoming a life coach and now working with Win a Pageant as a certified life coach. It's just like the coolest full circle God moments. So those are, when you say mentors, those are two women that have poured into my life immensely.
Beautiful.
Yeah, pageantry is, and um, I hope that I'm that for other women as well, because that's the opportunity that we have in pageantry is to pour into each other. Um, so yeah, I'm blessed to have great mentors.
Beautiful. That's brilliant. It reminds me of the scripture, all things work together for the good.
Yeah, definitely.
Beau- Beautiful. So, speaking of your mentors, you've also mentioned that you have a few mentorship programs and involvement of your own. Could you shine some light on that and let us know what are some of the mentorship opportunities that you've given to other women?
Yeah, I have done quite a few workshops online to help teach women. And it started with when I think about my workbook, I actually, started those workshops several years ago. And these are free online that I've done in the past. So um, so I've taken those workshops and then designed the workbook. And then the Queen's Code was actually, while I just published the book, it actually came to me as another workshop that I was teaching. Like the whole like download of the book kind of came to me as I was putting together this workshop for a very large pageant audience. And so I put it into the book form and then again taught the workshop to an audience of about 4,000 women earlier in January. It was actually the week before I won Mrs. USA. So I am, so very fortunate to
Talk about
have
a
this.
door being open. Like, talk
Yeah,
about with seeing the promised land before it even happens.
yeah,
That is,
yeah,
girl.
yes. No, I'm very blessed, very blessed.
Very, very, very. You will know them by their fruit. And that is definitely a testament to you. So, Trinity, again, thank you so much for this opportunity of just sitting here and kicking it queen to queen, Tennessee girl to Tennessee girl. I This was such an amazing experience and an honor and privilege to be able to get to know you on a deeper level and for you to feel so comfortable sharing that with our audience because there are plenty of young women and women alike, not even just young women, women of
Mhm.
all ages
Yeah.
who will be blessed and inspired by what you shared here today and what you continue to do. So how can people connect with you and learn more about your platform and just all things Trinity?
Yeah, they can find me on Instagram at Mrs. Trinity Pearson, just Mrs. Trinity Pearson. That's my handle. And I am so thankful to have had this opportunity to share my story. I believe in being as transparent as possible with everything that I've been through in my journey. I don't think there's any point in me holding it all in and not sharing it because that if I don't, then I can't help other people with what they're doing and what they're going through. So, and there has been immense growth for me in sharing my story because there have, when I first started talking about, my cancer journey or other things that I've been through, it wasn't easy to talk about. Because it's hard to share those things, but it did become easier as I saw how I was helping other people. So I'm pretty much an open book, very transparent. If people are um, asking and wanting, I'm not going to just like push it on someone, but if someone's asking and wanting to receive help and guidance, and I am an open book and extremely transparent with all the things. So thank you for inviting me and giving me the space to share my story with your audience. I'm honored and so thankful to be here.
Well, thank you, and it was definitely an honor. And you have a sister in me forever, you because you have inspired me as well today. Like you just don't know the gems you dropped on me today really have blown my mind and really inspired me to a new level that I know I needed to hear today for myself. So, thank you guys. This has been another Queenly Conversation. Please make sure that you all go follow Trinity on Instagram. It'll be in the handle in the description below. That'll be all below. And thank you for following and continue being dedicated followers of Heal Sis TV in our newest segment, Queenly Conversations. So, we look forward to seeing you, and I want you to live well and prosper. So, thank you guys so much. See you later.